Hello everyone, today I'm going to show you how to draw the super simple painting on Procreate with your Apple Pencil. Now this painting I used the jagged brush, and you'll find that in the painting folder. So if you go to the painting folder, which is right underneath the drawing, and then go all the way down to jagged, it'll give you a kind of look like that, which really looks realistic and it gives a lot of texture. So the first thing I'm going to do is go up here and hit the plus symbol, and today we're going to be using the square. So it's a nice little square here, and that's the brush we're using, and that brush is again called Jagged, which if you go down from your recents all the way at the top, and you go all the way down to painting, which is right underneath the drawing, and you scroll down a bit, you will find Jagged brush. The first color we will use today is a nice yellow. So we're going to go up to yellow in our disc, and we're going to make our own yellow. Now you also can go to palettes and go down to campfire, and this one yellow right here is pretty much the same yellow that I just made in disc. So either one of those works, and you can test it out real quick. It's a nice pale yellow, but it's not too bad. So let's erase that real quick. Before we do anything else, we're going to pick the size of our brush. So if you go all the way to the top, that's the size of your brush. It takes up the entire thing. Don't want that. We're going to go down to about, that's a little bit too small. We're going to go up to like 7%. So right here, if you want to save that brush, we're going to make it probably 6%. That's the perfect size. And now, tap that brush, and you see you have size at 6%, and then there's a little plus symbol right there. And if you hit that plus symbol, it'll save it for you. So up here, oh, it's way too big. I need to go back to my old size. Now, since your Procreate doesn't save that for you, you have to save it this way. So instead of trying to be like, I think it was 6%, but I'm not sure, maybe you end up going a little small and it's way too small. So instead, if you save it like that, you'll just hit that little line and it's the same exact size. We're going to color this entire canvas with the yellow. Now instead of just color filling it like that, looks too neat and tidy and doesn't look like you're actually painting it. So we're going to paint it in. So I'm going to try to make sure you see the overlaps and that not every inch of the canvas is covered, so it does look realistic, and because there's texture in paintings, right? It's not all perfect. So I think that's about all I'm going to do for this. And now I'm going to get, so now we're going to step away from the palettes and go over to disc so we can be a little bit more creative with our colors. And we're just going to darken that color just a tad, just to put a little bit over it, like that. Now it doesn't look great, but it will look great once we build it up a bit. So now we're going to go back to palettes and go down to campfire again, and that yellow that we just used, we're going to step over a little bit and hit that very light orange, and it will look like that. So I'm going for kind of like a warm, kind of campfire-y color, I guess, but I might put some other colors in there too. So that's our base. The next thing we're going to do is next to that orange, we're going to hit that orange a little bit darker and just play around with it. And so right now we're on one layer, just making sure that everything is together. All right, and now the color next to that is even darker, and we're going to use that one. And the one next to that is even darker. The one next to that is now brown. And that's the painting so far. So you see all the nice layers, and now we're going to go get a very pale color, which is actually, if you go to that same yellow, it's right underneath it, but on the bottom. So it's kind of like white, but I guess cream. And now, go back to palettes, and we're going to go to the last palette there that Procreate gives you, and go to the first color. It's very bright, so let's lower the opacity. Instead of having it at 100%, we're going to pull it down to like 81. Maybe, yeah, that looks good. So that one is 79, and we're going to save it there. So go down to 79 and put some a few brush marks on there, like so. Now with that green, it's starting to look a little bit like a rainforest. So let's go to the color a few squares down. Now it's a little bit more blue. And we're going to keep the opacity at 69%. It gives a really nice look because you can see the colors underneath it, and I really like that. So there's that. And now we're going to get a little bit of a dark blue, kind of looking like purple. Same opacity, and do a little bit more of that. And now this might sound funny, but let's go over to our disc and go down to black, and a little tip. Procreate tip. You think it's black. You double tap it and it'll make it black. Same thing with white. Double tap white and make it perfect white. Double tap orange, make it a perfect orange. Double tap pink, perfect pink. That goes with all the colors. It'll make it a perfect color, and it's really nice. So right now, that's just a little tip. But for right now, go down to black, and I think that opacity is a bit too light. So we're gonna make it more like, I think we're gonna change it up to 100% and save that right there. Now, you don't want too much black, but just a little bit. You can even lower your brush size a bit to like 3% if you want. Like so. And now we're going to get a perfect white. So use that double tap trick. And we're going to go back to our number 6 size brush. Give it a nice pop of color there. And let's make a nice light green. We're going to double tap green right there. It makes a nice little green. And let's take that green actually down to the 69%. We're going to go over the black. Kind of hide it a bit, but it's still there. Now, the last thing we're going to do, sounds a little funny, but we're going to get a very light pink, almost purple. Same opacity as the green, and go over that a bit. Now go get a nice warm yellow to get that yellow back in there. Alright, so I think that's the end of the painting. If you want to go back to palettes and get a little bit of orange in the top again, you can. And now let's go into there and select it and hit preview. And that's the finished product. Thanks so much for watching, and make sure to come back another day and join me for another project. Bye!